Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you for joining me, guys. Hopefully you're all doing well. So let's face it. Let's be real here, right? I've been very legendary heavy here on the channel in the last few days. We did Lydia the Death Siren, and then we did Little Miss Annie, a new Void legendary into the game at the time of this recording. Both incredible champions, but it's time to give back to the people here, back to my roots, and talk about one of my favorite rare champions in the game, who we've never done any sort of guide or content here on the channel before, and that is Diabolist, a rare champion with incredible speed. She is all about speed and turn meter, this champion. She's going to be a very important component of your teams, especially in the mid game, in the early game, of course, of Raid Shadow Legends. This is a champion that is level 20 dungeon viable, not just viable, but it's really going to make a tremendous impact on your progression inside the game. And today we're going to talk about why. We're going to show her in Dragon's Lair, show her in Ice Golem, where she's amazing, and of course we're going to talk about her kit, her masteries, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with her kit, and then we'll get into kind of how I built this champion. So, where is she? Diabolist, by the way, before we actually get to her, very important to note, she's a farmable champion, which means you can easily farm her and you can easily book her as well to full by using duplicates of this champion to rank up her skills. Brimstone Path, which is stage 12 of the campaign, you can pull yourself your very own Diabolist. So let's go ahead again and take a look at her, because those base stats are not correct, because it is, what, a 3 or 4 star champion, 4-star champion. So let's go ahead and take a look at her here, all built out, and talk about why I like her so much. So Diabolist, in terms of her base stats, 18k HP, 1000 attack, 782 defense, very low, 110 speed, very high, and decent. A lot of HP, not a lot of defense. So kind of keep that in mind when equipping this champion. On the A1 Torment. Attacks one enemy, has a 20% chance. I'm just going to assume you book out this champion. She's easy to book because, again, she is farmable. So has a 20% chance of placing a speed debuff for 1 turn. A sleep debuff, excuse me. No good, right? And not good multipliers on this champion. She can help you out. On level 20 dungeons, the way that we have her built out with 100% crit rate, she's going to be doing around 700,000 damage with a tier 6 mastery, War Master, on her kit as well, on her build. So Electric Storm is an AoE attack, which is nice. Again, not doing tremendous damage. We're talking campaign 12-3. Brutal, maybe doing about 7,000 damage on this AoE attack. Place 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now you're talking. Great ability, Electric Storm. That's on a 3-turn cooldown with her base speed being 110. If you put speed boots on this champion, you build her out with a lot of speed, which you're going to want to do, you can pretty much keep this increased speed buff on all your champions pretty much all the time with this champion, similar to the way that you would in an apothecary inside this game. And the nice thing is increased speed, as you guys probably know, isn't based off base stats. It's based off their total speed, so it's going to give you a huge bump in all of your champion speeds for 2 turns every 3 turns. Positive Charge, her A3 is on a 4-turn cooldown. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%, decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. This is kind of the miniature version of Lyssandra's Energize ability, which is also her A3. Granted, hers is a 30% increase and a 30% decrease, but still, for a rare champion, this is a unique and really great ability to have, kind of rounding out her kit. As I said, it's all about speed with Diabolist. Let's take a look at her masteries here. So I opted to go with War Master on this champion. War Master just helps put out a ton more damage, especially against bosses. Again, her A1 is very light hitting, I guess, not hard hitting, right? So definitely went offense tree. I want to get a little bit more utility out of this champion, and she's not really a champion that you want to put like a shield set in or anything like that or anything like that. So I chose to go War Master with my Diabolist. And then on the support tree, very noteworthy here, her positive charge ability. I was going to say Energize. Her positive charge ability, that minus 15% turn meter is actually important. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's important. It's going to help your team catch up and pass the enemies and cut in line and go more often, which is good because it will keep them alive and keep the enemies dead. But that is predicated on her having a decent amount of accuracy. So that skill in her kit basically requires us to have to build her with some accuracy. So I don't have pinpoint accuracy mastery, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that a lot of you guys would probably benefit from it. As I always say, don't just blindly copy and paste a YouTuber's or a website's masteries. Think about what you need given the build and the gear that you have on a specific champion, okay? So pinpoint accuracy is going to be important for a lot of you guys, but I already had her out to almost 250 accuracy thanks to an accuracy banner on this champion, so I didn't need that extra accuracy. Instead, I went with Steadfast, gaining more HP to make her a little bit less squishy than she already is. Lasting Gift's going to have a chance to extend the duration of her increased speed. That's what I chose for her tier 5 mastery on the support tree, along with Spirit Haste, increased speed by 8 for each dead ally, stacks up to 24, which is an okay mastery. So that is her masteries. Let's go ahead and talk about her artifacts. So for me, I'm building this champion out with as much speed as possible. Again, very, very high base speed. Let's take advantage of that. So I put, 2 speed sets and an accuracy set on this champion. If you're having trouble keeping her alive, feel free to go ahead and put lifesteal gear on her as well, especially on that A2. Even though it's not a ton of damage, it's going to really help heal her back up to full health every single time. You'll notice that I don't have all of her gear all the way maxed out. I don't have her accuracy banner maxed, and I don't have her ring maxed either. That's just fine. I went with crit damage on the amulet. I went with attack, actually resistance. What? I guess I went with resistance on the chest. However, I would not go resistance on Diabolist. I would definitely go with attack percentage. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and make that change right now. That must have been a mistake. So let's go ahead and see what we have here for attack percentage on accuracy. Well, we have one right here. Let's go ahead and use that instead. So that's much better, right? Because we want her hitting, we want to take advantage of these crit rate gauntlets that we have on her. So crit rate gauntlets, and it wasn't even a accuracy. How did I lost that much accuracy on that? Jeez, I didn't realize there was that much accuracy on that chest piece, but it's okay. 222 is just going to be fine for us for level 20 dungeons. We really want to hit like that 220 mark, or at least over 200. Usually 20 points of accuracy per level of the dungeon. Or 10 points of accuracy per level of the dungeon. So that's how we have her built out, guys. Let's take a look at her total stats again. Crit rate. Feel free to go defense percentage or HP percentage. Just factor in the HP skills so much better on this champion, but you do want to add some defense to her as well. So I think you can get by with either or on her chest if she's dying a lot. Again, if this champion's dying, put her in HP or defense and make that attack percentage sacrifice. It won't matter that much, trust me, because she's not going to be your main nuker anyway. Speed on the boots is imperative for this champion. Always want to go speed boots. No question about it on Diabolist. And then again, I'm just looking for some speed and substats, and that's pretty much it, right? Some accuracy as well. Speed, accuracy, HP or defense is kind of what I'm keeping my eye out for when I'm equipping this champion. So there she is, guys. That's her total build. In terms of total stats, again, 224 on the speed. I have 2,800 on the attack, 40k HP, 1,600. Very weak on the defense, and accuracy at 222. Let's go ahead and give her a shot, guys. As I mentioned, really not an arena champion. I think you'd be better off with an apothecary who has his increased speed and his increased turn meter on the same ability. But if you don't have access to apothecary and you want a speed champion, it's nice to have that speed on the AoE attack as well. So let's start her out in Dragon's Lair. I have this nice kind of free-to-play friendly team, with the exception, even though she is a rare, of Reliquary Tender, who's going to be important to us. If you don't have Reliquary Tender, you can still use a team just like this, and just sub in Syl the Drakes when you get her after 200 or whatever days as a free daily login reward champion. So I have Apothecary in the lead because his defense in dungeons helps us out quite a bit. We talked about how squishy she is on the defensive end. Then we have Kale as my main damage dealer with all his poisons, and then we have Warman, who's also a great nuker and a debuffer on this team, and we have Reliquary Tender, again, is going to be our healer on this team, and she's a fantastic healer because she also has a cleanse, taking all those poisons off of our champions. So this is going to be around a 3-minute run, maybe a little bit longer, which is great because, it's a very accessible team. You can get Kale as a starting champion. War Maiden you can farm up as well, I think stage 8 or 9, the desert stage inside campaign. We already talked about how you can get Diabolist as well. We gotta be careful here though, because Kale almost died We got very lucky not losing Kale. I did make this run with the same team, it's worth noting, a few times before recording, and nobody died both times. I almost lost Kale there. Very, very close call. But either way, this team still would have been able to beat the dragon even without Kale if we lost him on that first wave. However, it would just have taken a little bit longer. Now, again, if you don't have Reliquary Tender, consider a good healing champion, right, in that spot. Another one could be Painkeeper. It would be a great option as well. Another rare Void champion. So Kale's taking a couple hits. Really want to, and Kale's gonna die here. So that's good to show you guys. Oh, I forgot that Reliquary Tender has a revive, dude. I'm such an idiot. My bad. No big deal. We'll be able to beat the level easily because we have a reviver on the team. Totally forgot. Reliquary Tender is amazing support champion, especially when you see her on a team like this, right? So Kale's getting targeted. He has the lowest HP on the team. Kind of noteworthy there to kind of keep an eye on. But again, we're going to get to the dragon in about 1 minute and 40 seconds or so. Not too bad, right, for an all-rare squad. They put out a decent amount of damage, all thanks again to Ward Maiden and Kale really doing a lot of the heavy lifting, of course with an assist from Diabolist. Now, of course, we really haven't been paying a ton of attention, at least I haven't, to Diabolist, but you can see she procced a War Master there, an extra 20k damage to the dragon, and the Electrical Storm ability, or I should say, the Positive Charge ability, is not going to work against the dragon, but it will work against the Ice Golem and other bosses inside the game, save for the clan boss. So here we go. This is where we're going to stack up these poisons from Kale and from War Maiden on her A1. Nice job there. Poisoning the dragon is a great way of killing the dragon, so that's why Kale is so valuable. Champions like Frozen Banshee also very valuable. Check out Reliquary Tender. Boom. All the poisons gone, replaced with a continuous heal. Thank you very much. Now, here is really where, and again, hey, not bad, right? Electrical Storm did what, 60,000 damage? I'm curious to see how much damage she'll end up putting out, but here's the weird thing about Diabolist. Unlike Reliquary Tender, unlike champions who are big nukers in this game, she's not as sexy in terms of, I mean, she's a good-looking lady, but, you know, not as sexy in terms of you're not seeing high damage numbers, you're not seeing anything crazy. You're seeing an increased speed buff, which we already have with Apothecary, but I'll tell you what, that positive charge and making sure we consistently have that increased speed buff between Apothecary and her is really tremendously helping this team out. And decreasing the turn meter of our opponents on both waves is really helpful as well in terms of keeping us ahead in the fight, in the turn meter. So again here, in terms of the damage output here, we had Apothecary with 100,000, Diabolist with almost 700,000 damage, which again, as I mentioned earlier, she's kind of like a secondary nuker on your team. And then we had Kale and War Maiden doing the heavy lifting in terms of damage output here, and Reliquary Tender doing a lot of healing, but not a ton of damage. So you can see where Diabolist kind of fits in very nicely on a team like this. Kind of like Avir, the Alchemage, kind of one of the new Dwarf Rare champions. So let's sell this. Let's move into Ice Golem. And let me know, guys, in the comments below if you use Diabolist, or if you used to use Diabolist. Here's another kind of cool team. I needed a debuffer, so it was either Stag Knight or Tyrell. I went with Tyrell here, so this team not quite as free-to-play friendly as the last. I also do have 2 daily login reward champions that you'll eventually get for free. That's Dark Elaine and Syl of the Drakes. And then, again, I have Reliquary Tender for heals, and I have Diabolist. And the reason I mentioned at the beginning of this video that Diabolist is really, really great for Ice Golem, especially if you're struggling to finish, you know, any stage of Ice Golem, is because on this second wave, she's going to be able to go ahead and keep the opponents from going, those Terror Beasts. That way, she's able to go ahead and, or we're able to avoid, excuse me, the Shriek ability, at least for a while, right? And the longer we can go in the second wave, avoiding the Shriek ability, especially in stage 20 here, specific, is going to be very beneficial to our team. It's going to keep our champions alive. That's why Syl of the Drakes is great in this dungeon as well, helping out with those stuns. You can see she landed 2. And there's a positive charge, again, just helping us go, take a couple extra turns. Tyrell was able to get an AoE attack that he normally normally would not have gotten in had it not been for that positive charge. And she does stay alive for a second. She ends up dying, but it's okay. Reliquary Tender will pick her right back up. And Still the Drakes also has a revive, which is really helpful in a situation like this. Dark Elaine might die here. Now she actually doesn't, but it's okay. We got plenty of heals on this team, and you can see we're kind of struggling with this last Terror Beast, but we do make it to the Ice Golem in just over a minute. Not bad at all. Now it's time to heal up, guys. And again, if you don't have Seal of the Drakes yet, go ahead and run a champion like Vrask in a team like this. He's a great healer for Ice Golem, being Spirit on Spirit Affinity, especially for level 20. Why do we have Dark Elaine on this team? Because if any of my allies get frozen, she's going to immediately attack with a big, strong AoE attack. Again, right here, though, we want to make sure we're healing, and that's going to be very beneficial. That's, again, why we have 2 healers on our Ice Golem team. But notice that her positive charge ability does work against the Ice Golem and his minions. So really, I feel like Ice Golem's Peak is the best dungeon out of all the dungeons in the game for Diabolist. So here comes Dark Elaine. Dark Elaine, I do believe, for this dungeon specifically, just kind of a Dark Elaine tip, I do have her an attack percentage boots, which is something I very seldomly do, sometimes for arena nukers, and, well, for Dark Elaine here in this dungeon, because she's going so often anyway, because her Death's Majesty ability will immediately proc every time an ally is frozen, that we're not as concerned with her speed as we normally would be in any other dungeon. It's kind of a note on her, and you can see she's just absolutely a beast in this dungeon, right? I mean, like, she's going to be putting out a ton of damage. Wait till you see at the end of this battle. But again, I like this team. It's super solid. It's not free-to-play friendly, but it is one of the more accessible teams. Usually, you're seeing in the end game people run like Dracomorphs and just the best champions in the game in Ice Golem. But this is a little bit more feasible, something that a lot of you guys can probably work to, because a lot of these champions are ones that you'll be able to access. And again, if you don't have that Stag Knight, run an Apothecary on the squad in the lead. You'll still have that defensive aura, which is going to help you out a lot in Ice Golem, and then add another defense down champion onto this squad as well. So you can see slowly but surely, which is the way we want to approach Ice Golem, methodically taking down the Ice Golem's health. If you kill him too fast, he's going to do too many AoE attacks and your team is going to wipe. It will happen. The nice thing about a team like this is consistency, right? And you saw we came into the Ice Golem with a very, weak squad. Our HP was very, very low. But again, thanks to Diabolist with that turn meter manipulation, the consistent increased speed, it's really helping our team catch up and stay ahead in terms of the damage, in terms of their HP versus the enemies. So guys, as we watch this attack conclude, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I do want you guys to stick around to see how much damage Dark Elaine does in this fight. But either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Again, I have a little bit more rare content, another video ready for you guys later this week. Be sure to subscribe here to the channel if you enjoyed the content. I want to thank you guys, those of you who watched all the way till now, till the end of the video. You know who I'm talking about. I appreciate you all. And yeah, let's see. We're about 4 minutes, so it's a longer run here. Not gonna lie, and we do lose Reliquary, but it's okay. We'll pick her right back up, and that's the beauty of having 2 revivers on the team. No big deal. Dark Elaine gets another hit off. One more hit. There we go. All right, so Dark Elaine almost 2 million damage, but hey, the surprising star of the show here is going to be Diabolist. 1.3 million damage, out damaging, Seal of the Drakes, which I honestly did not expect. Both champions built out to 100% crit rate. So between her damage and her turn meter, I think she's a really helpful support champion. Hopefully you guys agree. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.